We're going to begin by removing this panel. This is where you're going to access the wiper fluid hose. This is your hose. This is what you're going to be snipping into. This is where you're going to tee in our system to the existing OEM wiper fluid system. What you can see is we took a fish tape like this, and we routed the fish tape down behind the wheel well fender, and we stuck it out the bottom, and I'll show you what that looks like underneath. And we're going to attach the hose to the fish tape and pull it up through. We removed 2 T10 Torx bolts right here and one right over here. And that lets you pull the fender away like this, and that's where this fish tape slips out. And then you can see right here is where we attach the hose. This is where we attach the hose to the fish tape. Now when you do this, make sure you use electrical tape and make sure that it's super tight on the fish tape and the hose so that when you pull up through, it doesn't come disconnected. Once you have the hose up here like this, just pull the fish tape off of that. You're gonna have the electrical tape on the hose still. Just take some side cutters, cut that, and then we're gonna tee right into this line just like that. And you're gonna wanna take the T fitting that came in your kit and just put that right in line. Pretty simple, like that. Take the hose that you just routed up. And then take the shutoff valve that also came in your kit. And we're gonna insert that in one end. And take maybe a small 3-inch section of the hose that came in your kit, and we're gonna insert that on the other end of the shutoff valve. And then that is gonna plug right into the other side of the T-fitting. Turn this valve off, you're not gonna be sending fluid to your rear nozzle anymore. So in the summer months and nice months, you're not wasting any fluid. And just turn it back on when you're ready for those dirty months. You can see once it's routed down at the bottom, just zip tied the hose along the bottom of the vehicle to different tie points there. You can see it runs down. It goes along this bottom skid plate, back along that side there, and then over top of the rear control arms. Make sure you zip tie it to points that aren't moving, and then we'll show you what it looks like in the back. Once you have it fed all the way to the back, you can see it comes right here. We have this bottom cover taken out. It's just a bunch of the T10 screws and a couple of the plastic pins. You pop that out so it drops like this. And then you're gonna want to run your fish tape through the hole that the wiring harness comes in for the camera. And that goes down through here. And you can just take your fish tape and pop it right through, and that's how we're gonna pull it back up through that hole. So you'll see here we already have the hose connected to the fish tape. So now we're just gonna pull that right up through. Once you have the hose pulled all the way up like this, go ahead and button up that cover back underneath. Make sure your line is zip tied properly all the way up to the front, and then we're gonna focus back here. That will finish up this whole install. This panel and this panel, we're gonna use a T20 Torx bit. We're gonna take these off, set them aside, and then we'll have complete access to the tailgate. Remove just this panel, not this panel, the bunch of T20 Torx screws. We have this panel removed. We're gonna be routing the hose right through here, in through here, and through this hinge. We're gonna wanna leave a little bit of hose right here so that it can coil when you drop and close that step. All right, once that's fed through the hinge like that, we're gonna lift this back up. Your pry tool and just take these caps off right here. 3. And this is going to give you access to everything you need right here to attach your actual nozzle. See, your hose is routed through here. Hang it just right here. And the next thing we're going to do is remove that tailgate handle. You have 2 10mm bolts right here. You're going to zip those out, and that tailgate handle will pop out, and you're going to want to disconnect the electrical harnesses. The wiring harness right here and one right here that you're going to disconnect, and that'll pull out from the tailgate handle. And then there's one on the tailgate handle that you'll disconnect. And they're pretty simple. There's a couple red tabs. Just pull those red tabs back, and then that whole thing should pop off. That red tab, just push that back over here. Pull that red tab back, and then press in and disconnect. One more down here, and that's your tailgate handle right there. And this is right where we're going to put the nozzle. Using the template that came in your kit, you're going to want to line it up like this. Make sure that curve is matching the curve on the template, and make sure you're parallel on the top with the mold trim line, same with the bottom line. You're just going to want to mark it. You can use a pen, marker, anything you want. I'm using this pin here. Just mark it. We took just a pilot drill and drilled through slightly so you can see what it looks like from the other side. You can see that hole popping through. See, it looks just like that. Turn around. So you got the hole open right here. You can see we drilled with a 5/16 hole all the way through. And on the other side, you can see that hole here. And we trimmed away some of that plastic just to give clearance for the nut and the hose to mount. You can see what it looks like now with the nozzle. We try to put the nozzles as close to the camera lens as possible, just so you have enough pressure to spray off even the thickest of salt, mud, anything that's on that camera. On the back, we took off a small 3 to 5 inch section of hose, and we put the check valve in with the arrow facing in the direction of flow. This is going to prevent backflow as well as leakage when your tailgate is down or while you're driving. The only way this is going to open is when you actually pressurize it with your OEM wiper fluid pump. Now let's reinsert everything, and we're going to button it all up and try it out. That spray pattern was perfect. If you do need to adjust your nozzle, you can take a 1/2 inch wrench and just adjust that slightly to get the right spray pattern on that lens. This one was all set, so we're going to button everything up now.